Welcome to Heal into Happy. I invite you to take an adventure with me into your very own universe as I guide you to go within, release your fears, and become empowered to create a life you love. I am your host, Lark Allen. My intention is to help you shine a light on everything that is keeping you from being truly free. You can expect this healing journey to be filled with love, laughter, clarity, and fun. Are you ready to take a leap of faith? Let's go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited to introduce my guest today on Heal into Happy as we continue to explore the 3 questions about co-creating heaven on earth together. Stasia Bliss is a dear friend now, and she has been a guiding light and mentor to me through so much. We've done so much heart expanding. She's helped me calibrate. She's helped me heal in this lifetime and other lifetimes. And I found her online, and it just felt like I was coming home to a sister that I had been longing for so long. She is so intuitive. She is so magical. And I'm going to read her bio now too, but I have to say that it is with deep appreciation that you're here with me on my podcast. And it's a great honor to have you on.
Oh, thank you so much. You're making me cry.
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. So Stasia Bliss is a life force management educator and sacred relationship and intimacy guide. She teaches us how to get in touch with life force energy within the body and cultivate a sacred relationship with it, which is the source of life, so as to reconnect body consciousness with the sacred self. She sees this as the critical step needed so humanity can begin to identify itself more fully as its evolutionary counterpart, the God human or divine human. She then helps one to identify this same process within our relationships so that we can support one another in the evolutionary journey more consciously. Stasia currently takes limited one-on-one clients for acute needs and long-term coaching and occasionally holds retreats. You can find her on her websites, blissinthehouse.com and thefamilymandala.space, as well as through her YouTube channel. She currently has an app extension that she uses to interface with clients and potential customers called Bliss Me, which you can find through the passion.io education app. I definitely recommend all of my listeners plug in to everything that you have to share. I'm so grateful that you're also back on Facebook. I've really been loving that you're back in that space, bringing so much light and so much love and so much passion and energy. And sometimes I feel that space is a little dark. And so every time that we come and bring our bright light, I feel like it's a huge win for, everything that we're co-creating, including heaven on earth.
I agree.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Yeah. And I feel like this is going to be so juicy to talk about this with you. And I wanted to let our listeners know as well that there's so much that I want to talk to you about and so much that I know that my listeners will love to gain from you. So many pearls of wisdom that you have shared with me along the way that I am excited to explore with you. And so you can expect to hear from Stasia for a couple more podcasts back to back to back because there's just too much. And today we're going to focus on our 3 questions and our Heaven on Earth initiative that we're doing. And then next time you really need to come back, everyone, because she is going to do an intuitive reading on our collective. And as we're going into this new year, what we can expect. And it's going to be a beautiful rampage between Stasia and I. But more importantly, her insights are going to be very impactful. I can already feel it. Okay, so let's get started. Number 1, tell me a time that you have experienced heaven on earth.
Ooh, I love this question, Lark. When you first asked me this, I immediately got a flash in my mind of a very pivotal time in my life, because I could say I experience heaven on earth all the time now. But I
Yes.
think probably the first time that I really had the juicy experience and really felt like a dimensional shift was in 2003. I was traveling in India. It was my second time there, and I found myself living on the beach in Goa. I had manifested my Kundalini yoga teacher, a Tantric master who I met on my first train ride there. And it was just like one divine meeting after another that brought my friend and I to the beaches in this opportunity to learn yoga. And at a deeper level that I already had, I'd been practicing a little bit of Bikram before that, but this was my first Kundalini experience. And I'll tell you, the combination between just, first of all, not having any other obligations, really having like this opportunity to relax, to have nature. I was walking barefoot. I was watching the sunset every night, inadvertently sun gazing, and I was doing this Kundalini yoga practice regularly. I started to have this very surreal experience where just magical things were happening one after the other, synchronicities, people, like healing abilities, intuition. I was channeling all this poetry and running down the beach with my eyes closed. Like just, I felt like I was in a different world. And looking back, when I came home from that experience, I kind of crashed hard and had to sort of integrate everything that I'd gone through. But what I realized is that Spirit had given me a glimpse of not just an awesome time that I could have traveling in India, but a life that I could have and that I could create for myself where I felt that much magic every single day. So that sort of inspired the journey that took me on to where I am now. But I definitely look back, and to me, that was the full manifestation of heaven on earth that we are walking toward now.
Wow. It sounds like you were just like totally, your third eye just had a complete awakening, being able to run down the beach with your eyes closed. That's so beautiful.
Oh man, so many beautiful, amazing things happened there. That was my first tantric experience there as well. And just the amount of just cosmic connection that I felt and the things I was seeing in life was so different. I was even bit by a scorpion at that time. And I actually just like, without even thinking about it, moved that energy out of my body and then asked myself, like, what am I doing? Like I was just spontaneously having these experiences where anyone with their head on at that time would think were impossible. But for me, it was naturally occurring. And that's what I say about the ascension process is these energies, they are naturally occurring when we allow them into our lives. This is how we're naturally meant to experience reality.
Ooh, thank you for bringing that part up, because I love what you have to say as we're all co-creating heaven on earth together, about the importance of getting out and getting the sun rays. I would love for you to share a little bit about that before we go to question number 2.
Yes. I mean, nature has all the codes for us. I mean, we've known through cultures throughout time that the sun was a symbol of consciousness, and being under its rays and actually even taking the time to gaze during the early morning hours and the late evening hours when the UV is down is so effective in activating our pineal gland. And I mean, many of us do it when we're watching the sunset and we don't even know it, but it really does have an effect on our consciousness, as does getting our hands in the dirt. You know, like in Goa, there was this natural clay bath that we would go and just take the clay out of the wall and mud up and lay under the sun and then jump in the freshwater lake and run down to the ocean. And it was a very like free beach. So, you know, sometimes people run around without their clothes on, and that might sound like super fantastical. But the point is the energy available there was this free and connected to the planet. And it made me realize, wow, you know, the planet is so involved in our evolution when we're really in contact with her and we're swimming in her waters and we're touching her earth and we're, you know, kissing her sky with our minds and our heads, and we're out under the full moon and we're out under the stars and we're participating with the cycles, then we are activating the capacity in us to bring heaven here now.
Yes. And I just got this flash of how you were letting your inner child
just totally be
Yes.
free there.
So
How
true.
fun to just get muddy and have the,
Mhm.
you're healing, but it's just like a kid's dream. And then running down to the waters and doing all of that. And I feel like that's what we're being called to do too, by going out into nature and getting activated by the sun. It's letting your inner child take the lead, that purity, that innocence that's within us that can never be smudged out.
Absolutely. And even that, we have this funny thing where we go out in nature and play, and then we come in and we clean up, like we've been to the beach and then we come clean up, or we've been out in the sun and then we come and clean up. And something about, especially living in India, there wasn't really ever a time you could fully clean up because you're really just in a very raw environment. But there's something about like our dirty hair, the wind in our hair, the ocean in our hair, like the sand under our nails. Like there's something about that's very primal, and it is playful. It is childlike. It forces us to not care so much about our appearances, and like, not that we should all let ourselves go, but there is some element to that natural way that the child, doesn't think about, that they've just been outside and now they need to clean up, that this somehow kind of sort of strips away that playful energy that the earth is providing.
I love that. Yeah, that is. All right. Question number 2. Here's a magic wand. And with this magic wand, you can create heaven on earth. What is heaven on earth for you?
I love this question too, because I do have a magic wand.
Yes, we do.
I've created wands for years.
I love your wands.
Thank you. And I will make a specialized wand for anyone who would like one. But for me, it's become really simple, and it still takes me back to being a child. And that's really like heaven on earth to me is the simple life, which is the simple things, the simple pleasures, like a bubble bath, like games, like the foods that I like to eat, like being with my children, being with the closest people in my life, being in nature. Heaven on earth is presence with each other, like playing the guitar and making up a silly song. So my magic wand would be to place everyone into a receptive enough place that they'd be willing to play with me. They're willing to play and laugh and jump into their childlike nature. And that actually kind of is how I use my wand. Like, let's get together around a fire and play. Let's get together in a retreat space and play together. Let's eat yummy foods with our fingers. And if we all were doing this, we all are playing and we all are being childlike and playful with each other, to me, this would be heaven on earth if this is the attitude we were all taking.
I completely agree. I just, I was sharing before we started recording that I'm doing a lot of journaling and envisioning, and that's my whole thing. Like, I am stepping into 2022, letting my inner child take the lead, letting that intuitive, precious part of me just be. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of dancing, a lot of bike riding, a lot of art and playing with my daughter and just having fun and just bringing
we can still pay bills and be
Yeah.
our child self,
Yeah.
We don't have to go into this full giant seriousness to be like, oh, here's a bill. And if we're having trouble manifesting what's needed for that, then I actually think more play is required. Like the more you will play and surrender and be joyful, the more the universe wants to bless with abundance and with, the resources so that you can continue to do that.
Yes, I feel like God supports and always is making sure that our inner child is provided for, so that more that we're doing all of that, the more that God is saying, here are all the things and all of the miracles and all of the abundance that you could possibly need. I'm providing for my beautiful child.
Absolutely. And the inner child is the one element I feel like in our inner family that has been the most neglected, and why we struggle with poverty and with illness and things, because we focused so much on the other parts of ourselves, which, are being grown up and being the protector and being the nurturer and being the spiritual one and seeking and all the stuff that we neglect. The very innocent nature of us that, like we just said, is the source of abundance.
Yes, I love that.
Yay.
So I feel like number 3, you're just always an example of, but I'm going to ask you anyway. What simple, easy, concrete step will you take in the next 24 hours to make heaven on earth real?
Well, I think it begins with each breath. So the concrete steps, even right now in this moment, I'm becoming aware of my inhale breath and how that fills my body up with life. And I'm allowing myself to enjoy feeling myself being alive with my breath, and let a smile come over my face. And with that, I'm allowing my, any stresses or any concerns to come off of my face. And my concrete steps will also be to bring that energy out, after our call, to my children and to the people I interact with today, and relay this presence in myself so that we can interact from a place of presence, which is where the new is always birthed. You're always birthing the new. And if we want heaven instead of hell, then we've got to come at it with love. So I'm committing to seeing all the people in my realm today with eyes of love, childlike, innocent, curious love, so that we can experience even just a slice of heaven in this day.
I love it. I'm committed to doing all of that too. Yeah, presence is the gift. And I feel like that is the thing too, that so much of us are feeling into. And that is another way that we're all at warp speed creating this heaven on earth, because
Absolutely.
we're, it's like we went through this whole mystery school experience to come back to the full circle moment of just being present.
Totally.
And looking at everything through those young eyes of ours, and tasting and appreciating a strawberry and the grass underneath our feet, and a good conversation with a friend. It's just all so blissful, and it's so simple, and it's so free.
And it's so always available. Everyone's always wondering, hey, what can I do today that will really affect change? I'm just one person. I can't do anything to affect such a big world. But the truth is, like, the micro and the macro is a true concept. And so where you're sitting right now in your house with your people is the whole wide world. It is a template for the whole wide world. And so if you can take mindfulness into your own environment today and enjoy, first of all, just the way everything looks, like just the way your house looks, even if it's a so-called mess there, enjoy the chaos too. Be really present with what is there before you. Find gratitude, and then go forth and, like, everything you touch, everything you taste, like you said, allowing that to be this brand new discovery experience, this grateful, I'm grateful I have this blanket. It feels so soft on my fingertips. And this is us getting fully in our bodies. And what I like to say, this is our God self. The God within us is 100% present, is always in the present. I am is a present moment thing to say. It doesn't mean future. It doesn't mean past. I am means right now. So the God self is in the right now. So when we're in the full right now with our sense organs, our fingertips touching whatever's in front of us, a blanket, a sheet, our clothing, our feet, whatever we're smelling, when we're in that scent, whatever it is, even if it's a bad smell, if we're in that scent, we're totally present with it. We're not wishing it to be anything else. We're just like, wow, this is me smelling. We are in our God self. And that is when we're in heaven. God is always in heaven. That part of us that's God presence is always in the heaven now.
Yes, that's totally embodiment of our higher self, which is everything.
It's whatever's happening, just with full 100% presence. So yes, it's so simple and so in our face, but we so often overlook it for interesting higher learnings, which are fun too. But don't actually take us anywhere if we can't be present in the now at the same time.
Yes. Okay, so I loved everything that you shared, and I am so excited for our next meeting. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you.
We're going to really feel into what's coming up, and I'm so excited for my listeners to get to experience how intuitive you are and how tapped in and tuned in you are. So
Thank you so much, Lark. I'm excited. I'm bringing some really, really special cards to this next call, this Gateway of Light Activation Oracle that has come to me recently, along with some other neat things that I just know is so excited to share what's coming in this year for all of us. So I'm excited too.
Yay. Thank you so much. And to all of the listeners, until we meet again, Stasia and I are offering you so much love and so much light, and we're inviting you to go outside, catch some sun rays, go barefoot, take a bike ride, really tune into the present moment. It is the true gift of being a human. And I believe that we're all angels having a human experience so that we can really experience all of our senses. So let's go out and do that.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you,
everyone.
Lark.
Thank
Much
you.
love to everyone.
Much love. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today on Heal into Happy. My prayer is that you have gained more insight into your healing journey and that you are one step closer to loving yourself more fully in this now moment. And if you could do me a favor, please leave me a 5-star review over on iTunes. My passion is empowering others on their healing journey, and with your review, you may help others struggling to heal find this message. Be sure to visit me at healintohappy.com for past episodes and more ways to connect with me. Also, please always remember that I am offering you so much love and light as I celebrate the divine sovereign being that I see in you.